100 Dome, so things are a lot better as the New York Yankees take on the Tampa Bay Rays in the middle game of a 3-game set from Tropicana Field here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hi everybody, welcome to Baseball on FS1, along with Brian Anderson. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees lost last night by a score of 2-1, and this is a scrappy Rays team. But when you beat the Yankees, you feel good about things, Brian. This is the team with the best record in baseball.
Yeah, listen, they pitch better than most. They hit better than everybody. I guess it's not surprising.
And they get 1 run yesterday against a plethora of relievers for the Rays. You hold this team to 1 run, you have to feel like you succeeded.
Yeah, guess what? That's the surprising part, because this is the most powerful offense in Major League Baseball. They lead major leagues in slugging percentage, and they lead the majors in home runs with 122 of them. Of course, the principals lead the way. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton with 19 and 18 respectively. However, they are getting a lot of help. 7 different hitters in this Yankee lineup with at least 10 home runs. This lineup is deep, it is dangerous, and it forces opposing pitchers to be very precise or risk paying the consequences. Wilson Ramos for the Tampa Bay Rays having an all-star caliber season, and he has been absolutely red hot here in his last 5 games. 8 out of 17 at the plate, a .471 average, .550 on base, a home run, 3 driven in, coming off of a 3-hit game last night. He will look to continue his hot streak here this afternoon and hopefully lead the Rays to a win in Game 2 of this series.
And as it sits right now, Wilson Ramos leads in the American League voting for catcher of the All-Star game. Also in that outfield is Aaron Judge. Let's take a look now at the Yankees starting lineup. Brett Gardner will lead off. Aaron Judge second, Didi Gregorius third. The DH is Giancarlo Stanton. Then it's Aaron Hicks in center, Greg Bird at first, Miguel Andujar the third baseman, Austin Romine behind the plate, and Neil Walker is going to play second base today and bat ninth. Gleyber Torres is not going to start today. He has a day off.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Tampa Bay Rays is going to be right-hander Wilmer Font, and you can see what he did. A couple of stints with the Dodgers and with Oakland. 10 games, 17 innings. He gave up 10 home runs, comes over here to the Rays and has started to turn things around. This will be his 4th start. He's appeared in 7 games, ERA 2.20, doing a better job of keeping the ball in the yard, and that will be of the utmost importance here this afternoon against this powerful Yankee lineup.
Let's take a look at the defense behind him. You've got Joey Wendell in left field. First time he's ever played the position professionally. Kevin Kiermaier, one of the best in center. Malik Smith is over and right. In the infield, you've got Duffy at third, the rookie Adames at short, Daniel Robertson at second, C.J. Cron over at first. We told you about Wilson Ramos behind the plate. So the Yankees are 50 and 23. That's the best record in baseball. The Rays are 35 and 40. Rays are playing with their throwback uniforms on when they were the Devil Rays in their inception. This is their 21st season as the organization celebrating its 20th anniversary. Font is ready. Gardner is ready. And let's do it here at the Trop. First pitch is up and away, and we are underway. Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. Tom Hallion, the crew chief at first. Sean Barber is at second, and Phil Cuzzi is over at third. Pitch is high. Now, Gardner had missed 5 games previous to last night when he returned to the lineup. His right knee had been barking, underwent an MRI, never went on the DL. They just gave him some time to recuperate, feels fine now. So this is his 2nd start in a row after missing those 5. First strike of the game, 2-1.
Well, he's coming off a 2-hit game last night. A guy that can really help get this offense going, works good at bats, will battle you at the plate, foul off tough pitches, try to extend at bats.
The 2-1. Foul back, 2-2.
Well, from Wilmer Font, what you're going to see, fastball, curveball, slider, and a split finger. That fastball will sit most of the time 94 to 96. He has gotten it up to 98 at different points this season, and the Rays have really encouraged him to cut that fastball loose.
Well, he works from the stretch. And the pitch is high. 3-2. Now the Rays need some length out of him today. Yesterday, they used 6 pitchers to hold the Yankees to that 1 run, and they held the Yankees down 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. But they need some length because sooner or later, you're going to run out of pitchers.
That's absolutely correct. And you saw his line, his last outing. That was against the Yankees up in New York, and they would like to see something similar to that.
Chop over the mound. Robertson's there, fires to first, and they get Gardner for the first out.
A nice job there by Daniel Robertson, anticipating Brett Gardner hustling up that line, taking that chopper, getting rid of it as quick as he can. But, you know, you're right. We talked to Kevin Cash, and you know, he would love to see Wilmer Font get through 5 innings here for the exact reason that you were just talking about. Had to go to that bullpen last night after the first inning and piece it together from there.
Here's Aaron Judge, and Font deals. Pitch is high, 1-0. Now, Brian mentioned that Font faced the Yankees in New York and pitched well against them last Sunday. And you wonder who goes to school on whom. Does he learn more about the Yankee batters, or does he continue to pitch his game and the Yankees have learned something about him?
You know, I think that's what you do. You come off of a good outing, and I know the Yankee hitters probably expect the same thing, that if it's not broke, don't fix it. So Wilmer Font will probably go out there and attack them the same way that he did in that, you know, the last time he faced them. The one thing you have to realize from the pitching end of things is you've got to be ready to be able to make quick in-game adjustments. Understand that they may be onto some of the things that you're going to do and have a wrinkle ready for them.
2-1. 2-2.
It is always nice, though, that when push comes to shove, you can rear back and grab 95, 96, 97.
The 2-2. 3-2. Last year, Judge had more 3-2 counts than any batter in baseball. And every time you look up, it seems like he has a full count. Very patient. Takes pitches, takes close pitches. Trusts his eye, trusts the strike zone that he believes. 3-2. Strike 3. Judge down looking.
Well, this is not where you're used to seeing the slider. Slider comes out, you're thinking down and away. This ball actually backs up a little bit on Wilmer Font, but stays true and catches that inside corner and catches Aaron Judge looking.
So 2 away, top of the first inning, just underway. Yankees and the Rays, middle game of a 3-game set. And here is Didi Gregorius. Gregorius 0 for 3 last night with a walk. First-year manager Aaron Boone. And his record this season is his record for his career. Never coached, managed anywhere. Went from the ESPN Sunday night booth into a pretty good situation.
A pretty good start for him, huh? Boy, he really has taken over a team that can beat you so many ways. And you talked about best record in Major League Baseball. You think about what this pitching staff has done. The starters getting the job done. The bullpen is as locked down as you can have in this game, and that offense is powerful as any out there.
That one is ripped to right field. Smith is there, puts it away, and Font works a 1-2-3 inning. Yankees nothing. Tampa Bay Rays coming to bat. First inning now is the Rays' turn against Sonny Gray. And here's the Rays starting lineup. Kiermaier, Duffy, and Bowers up top. Middle third, Ramos, Wendell, and Crone. In the bottom third, Robertson, Smith, and Adames. Starting off with Kiermaier against Gray. Pitch is low, 1-0.
Well, Sonny Gray making his 15th start of the season, 5-4 record, 4.89 earned run average. Has been throwing the ball better as of late. Just a 263 earned run average over his last 4.
Kiermaier, a base hit to right field. Judge will get the ball in. Kiermaier with a big turn, leadoff single.
Kevin Kiermaier coming back off of the disabled list. This is his first hit. A pitch meant to be away, ends up middle in. He's able to get over top of it, find a hole there on the right side, and the Rays with a leadoff base hit and speed to burn on the base paths.
He'd been out a significant amount of time with right thumb surgery. 0 for 13 since coming off the DL. That's his first hit. Here's Matt Duffy. 6th in the American League in batting average with .321. Both batters, Brian, 1-0. And for Gray, most pitchers it means a lot. For Gray it means way more than others. When he's ahead in the count, opponents at 174 against him. Behind, 359. A 185 point difference, nearly twice as wide as the average pitcher. So he needs to get ahead. Yeah,
that's an incredible difference. And you're right, some guys it's more important than others. If you're a pure stuff guy, you can get away with being behind a little bit more because you can overpower hitters. And Sonny Gray's got plenty of good stuff. There's no question about that, but not an overpowering type pitcher. So 0-1, 1-2.
Big cut by Duffy, 1-1.
That's what you see happening too, because these hitters know you'll fall behind. He's going to come back into the zone and they're ready to go. Good sink right there on that fastball by Sonny Gray.
Take a look at the Yankee defense. In the outfield, you've got Gardner, Hicks, and Judge left to right. In the infield, and Duhar, Gregorius, Walker, and Bird. Behind the plate, Austin Romine. Sonny Gray's on the mound. Austin Romine has kind of evolved into Sonny Gray's personal catcher, something Aaron Boone did not want at the beginning of the season, but Gray certainly seemed a bit uncomfortable with Sanchez behind the plate. 1-2.
And I think that that's one of those things where Aaron Boone, he would like to stay away from that, of course, but you also want to get Sonny Gray going. And if all of a sudden you see him start to click with a catcher, whatever it takes to get him going, especially when you think about, the injuries to the starting rotation with Tanaka and, of course, Montgomery being out, you need to have what is there right now get locked in. And Sonny has been a lot better as of late.
I mean, there's history to this as well. I mean, we know about McCarver and Carlton back in the day, but the Yankees in the most recent World Championship, 2009, A.J. Burnett just pitched better with Jose Molina behind the plate. And you know what? They started Jose Molina in the World Series and sat down Jorge Posada. That's how much they meant to each other, and they felt that that rhythm was important for Burnett's success. 1-2, swing and a miss. Duffy down on strikes.
Now let's take a look here. Sonny Gray through the month of April, things not going well. It start to turn a little bit in May. And then, of course, the 4 starts we're talking about in June. That record comes right around perfect. The ERA even better at 2.63, and that opponent average has come way down. So certainly he is starting to find a rhythm out there on the mound. Very important for the Yankees moving forward.
There's Jake Bowers. Slice to left field. That is going to be a base hit. It's going to go to the wall. Kiermaier hustling to third. They're waving him home. Here he comes. He will score. The throw goes over the head of Romine, and that allows Bowers to go to third. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Well, a couple of things in this play that went wrong for the New York Yankees. First of all, the location of the pitch. Middle away, but elevated. Jake Bowers lets that ball get into the zone and then shoots it the other way. Kevin Kiermaier, with all that speed at first, he's going to look to score. Bowers is going to hang up at second base. This play's going to be over, right? Because Kiermaier is going to be in there easily, but Didi Gregorius decides to make that throw and airmailed Austin Romine. That allowed Bowers to get over to third now with less than 2 outs.
So that'll be an RBI double and an E6. Yankees bring the infield in for Ramos. The pitch is outside, 1-0.
Well, there was absolutely no play to be made there, and that throw made. You know, if it's made and it's right to Romine, okay, no harm, no foul. But that's the risk that you run making that throw, is it goes awry. You can see here Gregorius, he's just turning and firing. But you can see clearly Kiermaier's already past home plate, and that ball way up.
1-1. Foul back, 1-2. Ramos had 3 hits last night. He's 10 for his last 24. 296 overall, having a very good year. And there's a chance he could start for the American League in the All-Star game next month. That'll be at Nationals Park in D.C. And that would mean something to him, because that's where he comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Rays not too long ago had a series there, and he was remarking on, you know, his time there and talking about how the fans had a love affair with the fans, and they did with him, welcomed him back with open arms.
2-2. Chop to second. Neil Walker checks back the runner, gets the out at first, 2 away.
That's a big play right there. Big pitch made by Sonny Gray. We highlighted Wilson in the open and how hot he's been here as of late. He's trying to get the ball in the air, but Sonny Gray does not let him. That slider down and away, pounds it right into the ground, gets the out that he needed.
So the infield will back up. Here's Joey Wendell. And Gray deals a strike.
Sonny Gray, he'll give you a lot to think about too as a hitter. You know, he's got the fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam. He'll cut it from time to time. Slider, curveball, changeup.
Popped up. Gregorius in shallow center will put it away, and that'll do it. Rays got 1 run on 2 hits. Coming up for the Yankees in the second, Giancarlo Stanton will start it off. Stanton, 18 homers, 42 runs batted in his first season with the Yankees, the reigning National League MVP. He has struggled in the Bronx. He's hit better on the road. He struggled against righties, and he has owned lefties. Had what might have been his signature moment for the Yankees in their homestand that they just finished up. He had a walk-off 2-run home run. The Yankees came back from down 5-0 to win 7-5. He was doused with Gatorade at home plate, and that was his biggest moment as a Yankee, Brian.
Yeah, this is game 2 of the series, and in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, got one out over the plate. That ball absolutely hammered. A devastating loss for Seattle. Big win for the Yankees. They would go on to sweep that series the following day.
Late on that swing, and he hits one inside first and down the right field line. He'll round first. He'll go to second. Smith gets the ball in, so a leadoff double for Stanton.
I think that smile said it all. Known for the power, but here it's about the location. This pitch up middle, and he just fights it off. That closed stance, that ball gets deep. Keeps it fair.
Now this is a much bigger crowd than the average crowd here at Tropicana Field, which is around 14,000 a game. Yesterday, 27,000 plus were here at the ballpark, and many of them Yankee fans. You're hearing that right now. So some of the Yankee fans from New York decided to take the trip south, or some transplanted Yankee fans that live down there.
It really was pretty astounding. The Yankees trying to mount a comeback in last night's game late, and this place got very, very loud.
One 1-0 to Hicks. Grounded foul. Obviously, Hicks is looking to pull the ball here, at least get Stanton over to third. Yankees not exactly a small ball team, but you could still try to drive the ball, but make sure you pull it to get the runner over.
Yeah, this team really built around the home run, but they do have some athleticism in this lineup. Aaron Boone talks about having guys that can get on base, that are willing to take walks. Yeah, here's the thing that's interesting too with this defensive setup that the Rays have right now, is that if Hicks does pull the ball over, and you see what they're able to do, the runs per game, home runs of course, on base percentage still very good, extra base hits, but you see defensively, you know, if Hicks does roll that ball over, productive out, get him to third, okay. If he shoots the ball the other way, there's a lot of room over there to work with too. Now, Matt Duffy pulled way off the bag, and then an open gap.
They call a strike on that one, 2-2.
Well, they wanted that pitch away. You get Wilson Ramos reaching back across the plate, but that definitely looked like it caught enough of it.
Off speed, upstairs. And the count is full. Stanton leads off second. Adames keeping him honest. 3-2. Driven into center field and deep. Going back is Kiermaier. He makes the catch. Tagging is Stanton. And he'll go to third. One away.
Well, that's exactly what you were talking about, Mr. K. Drive the ball, at least get the runner over to third. Hicks put a charge into that. Straightaway center field, unfortunately for him, and Kiermaier able to run it down, but got it deep enough that you get Stanton over to third now with just one out.
How about this? Second inning, the Rays bring the infield in with Greg Bird at the plate. Runner at third with one man out, so trying to cut it off early. Now Bird, since coming back from the foot injury, has struggled. And Aaron Boone was asked about it today. He said, we still think that Greg is the dude. He said he just has to start duding it.
Guess that's a good way to put it. Well, he's been such a highly touted, prospect, and a guy that the Yankees looked at it as a building block for the future over at first base, planned him there and let him go. Injuries have kept him from a lot of time, kept him from getting into a good rhythm at the plate.
Swing and a miss. He's down on strikes. So an opportunity to pick up a ribby, he couldn't do it.
Well, and everything right there from Wilmer Font. They stayed soft with him. Started him with the curveball and then finish him off with one. This one moving down and in off the plate. Gets right underneath that swing.
And they back up in the infield with 2 outs. Here's Miguel and Duhar. Up the middle, right there is Robertson. Had him played beautifully. Took a base hit and a run batted in away. Yankees waste the leadoff double. Going further so you can. And by Hankook Tire, chase down your passion, never halfway. Well, that's what it looks like outside. It's that sort of day. Brian would have had to put all the sunscreen on his head, but we're here under the dome, we're okay.
Very safe.
Here's C.J. Cron. And there's a first pitch strike. Cron has really, really been struggling. 1 for his last 30. And what the Rays did today was they sacrificed defense to try to get him right offensively. He's not used to being a DH. He's not comfortable. So they have him at first base, and they have Bowers as the DH, and Bowers is a better defender. Yeah,
and it's interesting how some guys take to that DH role, and other guys it's a little bit more of an adjustment for them. And C.J. Cron, Kevin Cash said, listen, he wants to get out there, feel like he's part of the game, get into the rhythm of a game, defensively as well as offensively. So from time to time, they're going to do that to try to get him going again. He was a guy early in the season, a lot of power, a lot of production, but it's dried up here as of late.
And the Yankees are going through the same thing with Stanton, who played in the National League his entire career, played right field his entire career. Now he's sitting there watching when they're on the field. He's the DH. It's an adjustment.
Well, think about how detached you at times will feel from the game. You're not out there, getting into your stance on every pitch. You're just sitting there. You could go 45 minutes, sometimes an hour in between at bats. You got to stay loose. You've got to stay locked in. And some guys, it's very difficult, that transition.
2-2. Base hit inside third into the left field corner. Playing it out there is Gardner. Crone will start off the inning with a double.
Well, the one way to get C.J. Crone going is throwing pitches into his hot zone. If you're going to come in, it had better be up. Down and in, down middle. That's where he wants the ball. And you could tell by that swing and that contact.
So here's Daniel Robertson. Last night came off the DL after a stay, left hamstring strain. Bottom of the second, and we've already seen 3 doubles between the two teams. Tampa Bay right now in a stretch where they're playing very good teams. And that's been a problem for them this year. They're 21-9, teams below 500. They're 14-31 playing teams over 500. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Yankees last weekend at the stadium. And they played a tough series against Houston.
Yep. And then you come right back here, pick up with the Yankees. Then the Nationals come into town for a couple. Then the Astros come back into town for 4. So they are most certainly being challenged.
High fly ball, deep left, going back. Gardner still back on the track at the wall. He can't make the play. Crone will score easily. Robertson at second with an RBI double. 2-0 Rays.
Just changing places, and for Sonny Gray, it's just been too many pitches in bad parts of the strike zone. That one, they want to get it down and away. It never gets there, and Daniel Robertson with the plate coverage able to get the barrel to it and get it over the head of Brett Gardner. Well, he's taking a peek at that wall and then goes up. Wasn't going to catch that anyway with his back turn, but over his head nonetheless.
20th ribby for Robertson. Crone scores. And here's Malik Smith. He bunts. Back to Gray, who fires to first to get the out. Moving to third is Robertson. Gray, an outstanding athlete, a very good fielder. That was not an easy play.
No, it was not, especially because Malik Smith and the speed. You know that you have no room for error, that you're going to have to hop off that mound and no wasted movement. Sonny Gray does a nice job gloving and throwing all in one motion. He gets Malik Smith by a step and a half.
That's the best pitch he's thrown.
right on the money.
Strike to first.
That's right.
Yeah, he's bringing the infield in again. Here's Adames. Pitch outside. Every day the Rays have a little bit of a decision to make, because Adames was called up when Adeiny Echeverria, who's an outstanding defender and really hits against the Yankees very well, he was on the DL. He has since come off the DL. Used to playing every day. But they're going to mix and match, because why have a rookie up here like Adames if you're not going to play him?
No, I mean, tough decisions all around. You think about what the Rays have as far as infielders go. Matt Duffy at third. You've got, Adames out there at shortstop with Echeverria, Wendell Robertson at second. You see Joey Wendell playing left field today.
Grounded through the hole for a base hit through the drawn-in infield. Robertson scores. Adames with an RBI single. 3-0 Rays.
Well, that's always the risk when you bring that infield in. Cuts down your range significantly, and that little roller right there is able to get through. No play can be made because of where it was placed.
5th ribby of the year for Adames, and here is Kiermaier. Single through the right side of the infield in the bottom of the first to start that inning off, and came around to score. Gray has a really good move for a right-handed pitcher.
And you could see it right there, how quick those feet are and how quickly his hand gets to his ear and gets rid of the baseball. That, for a right-hander, that's what you need. Look at how quick the feet are and the delivery. It's interesting, too, because his times to the plate, it's not like he's super quick towards home plate, but yet as a right-hander, not a lot of stolen base attempts to get him against him. Just 2, goes along with 2 pickoffs. That move by itself will keep guys close.
Runner goes, ground ball to second. Walker's there. He'll take the out at first as Adames moves into scoring position.
Well, and for his sake, a good thing that he was moving, because if not, that's probably an inning-ending double play for the Yankees. It's the one thing that you'll notice about the Rays: when they are able to get a lead, they will get very aggressive on the base paths. Put guys in motion, try to swipe bags, stay out of double plays like they did right there, maybe a hit and run.
There's Matt Duffy. Struck out in the first inning. The 1-0. 2-0. Gray usually does very well on the road. The splits are stark. He really struggles at Yankee Stadium and pitches much better in the road grays rather than the home white pinstripes. And Aaron Boone had an answer for that today. He said, I think that he's a much better pitcher now in this month than he was in the beginning. He's finding what he has to do. He said, and we've had more road games where he started. Now, one home game he actually had a bad start. He said, so that's why the numbers look like that. He said, but I think it'll even out.
Well, and that's what you're hoping for, because you do not want Sonny Gray to be thinking anything more than he needs to, pitching at home as opposed to the road. And the sample size right now a little too small to definitively draw anything from. But you're right, the overall number is pretty interesting, to say the least. It begs the conversation. But Aaron Boone tapped that down rather quickly.
I mean, the difference is almost 5 earned runs.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yes,
it's a big difference. 3-1. He missed outside to Duffy, so Duffy walks, and that'll bring up Bowers. He's struggling here on the road today, but again, with all the Yankee fans, maybe he feels like it's Yankee Stadium South.
Well, you know, that's a good point. I tell you, it's been easy though. When you look back at the damage that the Rays have been able to do here early in this ball game, just look at the pitch locations. Pitches that have stayed up and out over the plate. The pitch down and into C.J. Cron where he loves it.
Bowers sliced an RBI double to left. That was in the first inning. 4th ribby. Throw to second. What a play by Gregorius to keep that from going into center field.
Well, there's some of that athleticism that we were talking about in this Yankees ball club here, shown defensively. And you're right, that ball looked like it had some cutting action and was headed to center field. And Gregorius sliding in, it was cutting, but he's able to come back and glove it and keep it in the infield.
Well, before today, Gray had allowed 2 runs or fewer in 6 of his 7 road starts. He's already given up 3, and the Rays are threatening for more in the bottom of the 2nd. (2-0), falling behind. As Brian mentioned, the location not there. His stuff is so lively and good, but if he's going to be off the plate, there's not much you could do with it.
Sometimes you wonder too, with so many pitches, are you spreading yourself too thin? Tough to get into a good rhythm and get locked in with location when you've got 5 different offerings. You know, you think sometimes maybe simplifying things, it would go longer for you. You know, less is more type of thinking. Because that fastball, he'll 4-seam, 2-seam it. Then you've got the curveball, the slider, cut it from time to time, change up.
High fly ball, shallow left. Gardner's there, makes the play, and that'll do it. But 2 more runs for the Rays, and they lead to 3-0.
The Rays lead the Yankees 3-0, and let's take a look at our 4 keys to the game. For Tampa Bay, a strong start by Wilmer Font as he goes out there today on a bullpen day. So far, so good, as the Rays used 6 pitchers last night to get through 9 innings. They need a good outing from him. And for the New York Yankees, find the outfield seats. Their first 5 games against the Rays, 5-0, they hit 10 home runs. The last 2, they've lost both of them, just 1 home run.
That guy had 59 last year in winning the National League MVP. 1-0 on Romine.
Boy, and coming down the stretch, it became ridiculous. I mean, he was just popping everything. You talk about getting into a rhythm towards the end of a season. And the strength. You watch Stanton, you watch Judge take batting practice. And they flip balls out of here. That's what makes them so dangerous. You know, they go into a little bit of a slide, but they are always 1 swing away from coming out of it and from putting their team on the board.
Well, BP has become such a show that the Yankees have opened their gates earlier, because usually the stadium's closed when the home team takes BP. But so many people want to see Judge and Stanton at selected games. They open up early so people can come in. That one is ripped into center field. Kiermaier on the run. He's not going to get there. It's 1 hop up against the wall. It's a doubles day here at the Trop. Another double, this one by Austin Romine.
Well, you had Kevin Kiermaier kind of shading him a little bit in towards right center field. And Romine getting a good pitch to hit here, and boy, does he get into it. Nice plate coverage, being able to get out and around that baseball and hammering it straight away center. But there's just no let up in this Yankee lineup.
Here's Neil Walker. When spring training began, Austin Romine has always been a really great backup because he's a good defender. That's what you want in a backup catcher. But Aaron Boone challenged him and said, I see more there offensively. You can give me more offensively. I want you to work on that. He's hitting over 300. He's been great in the clutch with runners in scoring position, and that's why they don't hesitate to put him behind the plate. Fly ball deep left off the bat of Walker, cutting over is Wendell, and he makes the play. One away.
That might be Joey Wendell's first play made as an outfielder ever. He's been primarily an infielder for the Rays, second base, play a little third, a little short. You're getting an opportunity in left field, and there you go.
Well, he probably played it in high school every now and then.
You would think. On the travel team, pushed out there for a few innings.
Here's Brett Gardner, who grounded to second in the first inning. Gardner grounded into a game-ending double play last night, and Aaron Judge was waiting on deck for one more chance. And Gardner beat himself up after the game. He said, I hit it to the one spot where they could turn a double play. He said, that's on me.
Now, sometimes it's tough, where you're going to steer that ball. The pitch was down and away from him. Didn't have a lot of choices. The unfortunate thing for him and for the New York Yankees, he was up in that at-bat 3-0.
Yep. The 0-1. 1-1. There's been a lot made of the difference in Font now and in the first 10 games of the season where he's with the Dodgers and then the A's. He had a 12.71 ERA, a batting average against of 388 with those two teams. Since coming here to Tampa Bay, 2.20, 183 batting average against. Like a different pitcher.
And I think ultimately it is in the way that he's been going at hitters. Reluctant to use his off speed, not real comfortable with it. And the Rays have said, listen, whether or not you're comfortable with it, you need to use them. You need to show those pitches to the opposing hitters. And oh, by the way, as far as your fastball goes, no more pacing yourself. You go out there and let it rip. We'll come get you when we need to, but we need you to let that fastball get up there to your ceiling, which he can get it up there 97, 98 miles an hour at times.
Fly ball shallow center. Kiermaier on the run, slides and makes the play. 2 away. Well, he's won a platinum glove and he can cover ground.
Yes, he can. You see where he's located. This ball straight up in the air. Didn't look like it was going to need an effort like this, but a tough angle for the infielders. And here comes Kiermaier on the slide, covering some ground.
So Ramos goes out and tossed with Font as Judge waits at the plate. Top of the third inning, both teams have used up one mound visit, so they each have 5 remaining. All rise. That's one of the sayings about Aaron Judge in New York. They even did a SportsCenter commercial where he was in the SportsCenter studios in Bristol, and he would walk in and everybody would have to all rise.
That didn't take long, did it?
No. 2-0.
Yeah, some things just fit very, very well, and that's one of them. He got his own little section at the stadium.
Judges' chambers.
Yes.
He's really dominated at home. 359, 13 homers. On the road, 194, 6 home runs. They usually turn him loose on 3-0. Let's see if they do here. They do, and he fouls it off.
We got a fastball, too. That one may have been just a little bit tight in on him. But still, 3-1 count. Still, he's in control of things and can choose to get greedy.
Three 1. 3-2.
Comes with another fastball. This one keeping it right at the knees.
This is his 80th plate appearance this year with a 3-2 count. Grounded to third. Bobble, drop. Across the diamond. Got him. Duffy made up for the drop and got Judge for the final out. So a leadoff double is wasted. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It is 3-0 Tampa Bay. Looked like he might beat it out. Duffy had other ideas. Online, you can vote for your favorite players at MLB.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox and ESPN Radio. First pitch to Ramos is upstairs 1-0. Tampa Bay leads 3-0 over the Yankees as we start the bottom of the third inning. Brian, I have numbers for you. Numbers. The Yankees in this series. So a game in 3 innings, 1 for 15 runners in scoring position. That's why they've scored 1 run.
Yeah, I mean, that is a killer, especially when they've not been able to get one out of here.
One for 9 last night. 0 for 6 so far today.
Yeah, that's where it gets frustrating for a manager and even for that lineup. You know, they're giving themselves opportunities. You create the opportunities, you want to cash in. You know you're not going to do it all the time. But it's frustrating when you're not able to do that. And this lineup, far too good for that to happen.
Well, the Yankee offense has taken a little bit of a step back over its last 15 games. Ramos, did he go? No, count full.
That breaking ball down and away, and well, you could have gone either way with that call.
The pitcher and you wanted a strike.
Absolutely.
Well, how about this? The previous 16 games for the Yankees, before these 15 and this one, they scored 5.7 runs per game. The record was 11-5. Now 5.7 is great. Now the last 15 games and the first 3 innings here, they've averaged 3.7 runs per game. So you think, well, they're not winning as much. 11-4. Chop the third, and Duhar will get Ramos, and that shows you how good they're pitching.
Yeah, really. I mean, that sums up baseball. Baseball can be tough to figure at times, and you certainly would think that there'd be a drop-off in the record, but the pitching, the starters have been getting the job done. That bullpen that we've talked about, how about the bullpen area, the starters? I mean, that's tough to beat. And that's how you can get it done with just a little over 3.5 runs a game. That is a strong, stout unit down there in the pen. Sabathia's throwing the ball well. Tough loser last night. Boy, interesting how he just continues to reinvent himself. You know, he gave up some hits. You know, 10 base runners and 5 in the third, but found a way to keep the Rays off the scoreboard. Made big pitches when he needed to.
What he's done in his transformation is essentially enroll in Pettit University. He and Andy Pettit talk all the time, and Pettit considers him like a brother. And we were talking to Andy Pettit last week during the Yankee Old Timers Day, and he said if his arm holds up, he said he's never had a problem with his arm, he could pitch 4 or 5 more years like this.
Boy, he's so smart. You know, it was interesting. I got a chance to play with CC Sabathia back in his Cleveland days.
Bird makes the play.
Early in his career, we're at the point where he was a power lefty with a power slider. He develops a changeup that really takes him to the next level of elite starter in Major League Baseball. And then as the velocity has started to come down, now he becomes this guy who is a heady pitcher, understands what hitters are trying to do, is able to read them, combat that with movement. Nothing straight anymore. Cutters, sliders, changeups. Very rarely does he go with a traditional fastball, and he just continues to win.
And the poster child for that transformation is Frank Tanana, who was a hard thrower with the Angels, then hurt his arm and did a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and was just as effective as when he threw as hard as he threw. CC, though, it's just age that's taken away some velocity, and he's learned how to pitch.
And that's not always easy to do.
A lot of guys end up retiring. Yeah,
well, they do, because once their velocity comes down or they lose it, they've overpowered people their whole lives. So now all of a sudden pitchability has not ever been a strong point. So when I lose my velocity, I have no idea what I'm doing out here if I can't power by it and throw just a snapdragon slider. And so it can be very, very difficult to be able to make that transformation.
That's a transformation that Andy Pettit made, and he's helped Sabathia through this as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. Like you said, the camaraderie, the talking back and forth, sharing of information, bouncing ideas off of each other. So important in this game. You know, first hitter of a ball game, come back in. Everybody wants to know, what's it doing? Is it jumping? Is it sinking? How does this look?
2-2, swing and a miss. Nice bounce back inning for Sonny Gray as he gets the Rays in order. We'll go to the 4th. Didi Gregorius leads off. And there's a strike from Wilmer Font. Boy, Font is giving Kevin Cash exactly what he needs. He needed some length out of his bullpenner today, and it looks like he's going to get it. Up to this point, 3 innings, and he's worked quickly and effectively. Check swing, and a base hit to left field, just past Adames. An excuse me single.
Boy, how about that? Maybe that's the hit that gets the Yankees going. Four-seam fastball, and right there, Didi Gregorius not sold on going after that pitch. Didn't even finish the swing. That was a check swing. He'll take the base hit off of it. Nice effort here by Willie Adames, but he's not able to get there. And
here's Giancarlo Stanton. First pitch is up and away. Font in his 3 starts have stretched out a little bit more each time. First start 48 pitches, then 66, last time out 74.
When Kevin Cash was talking about wanting to get him up around 90.
Can they turn 2 here? There's 1 and there's 2. Doubling up Stanton.
Boy, eerily similar to the Gardner chopper in the game last night. Right there, it takes Robertson right to the bag, step throw. Able to get 2 here.
Here's Aaron Hicks. Drove one to fairly deep center in the second, run down by Kiermaier, so he's 0 for 1. Way out in front of that one, 0-1.
That may be the first split we've seen from Font here this afternoon. A lot of breaking stuff, a lot of fastballs.
Ripped foul into the Rays' bullpen. I thought the fastball conversation we had with Kevin Cash today was fascinating about Font, because they would look up at the gun and see he's throwing 91, 92, and what he was doing, as Brian articulated earlier, was he's kind of pacing himself. They said, no, you don't pace yourself. We'll take care of you. You throw as hard as you can throw. We want to see 98. And he's topped out at that today. And then a little bit of that as he pulls the string. No runs, a race by the double play. Catch it all season with the free MLB.tv Game of the Day, live radio broadcast, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. It might be the best app of all time. If you're a baseball fan, it might be, yeah.
Quite the endorsement,
It's
Mr.
strong.
K.
It's strong, but it's a great app. I don't just hand those out like Tic Tacs, okay?
When you go of all time.
That's right.
That's big time.
0-1 to Robertson. There's a strike. 0-2. Told you earlier how much better Gray is when he works ahead in the count, and he jumps ahead of Robertson. He's retired his last 4 batters in a row. Gray has. Swing and a miss.
But let that be a lesson to you when you're working ahead. And Daniel Robertson, a guy who typically has really good strike zone discipline, even those guys you can get to expand and chase. That pitch well off the plate by the time it gets to Romine, and he still is able to get the swing.
Here's Smith. Laid down a sac bunt in the 2nd inning. Line drive caught by Gregorius. 2 away.
Boy, have yourself an inning. Check swing, base hit. Perfectly timed on the jump. See it right into the glove.
If you remember, Brian, Adames did the same thing to Gregorius last night.
That's right.
I mean, really went up the ladder, and Didi stood around first base just staring at him. And here's Adames.
Well, someone's going to pay for that. You can play right there on Malik Smith. Sonny Gray doing a better job of not only pitching ahead, but getting his pitches to really good areas. That pitch right on the corner.
0-2.
You think about all the mistakes made early, out over the heart of the plate. Tough to live out there.
Pushed the envelope there, but Adames did not offer. 1-2. Bottom of the 4th inning, it is 3-0. Rays over the Yankees. Middle game of a 3-game set. Rays won last night by a score of 2-1. And the Rays are trying to do something to the Yankees. They have not done that often. That's lose series. Last 18 series, Yankees are 15-1-2. And that's since April 19th. The only series they've lost, a 2 out of 3 set against Texas in Arlington. Two-two.
Well, that's the mantra of any team you've ever been associated with. Let's win series. The season is long, 6 months, and little small segments. Two-game series, 4-game, 3-game. Let's win the series. You do that enough, you'll be right where you want to be at the end of the season. And they've been doing it better than anybody.
Three and 2 on Adames, who had an RBI single in the 2nd. Strike 3. Adames down looking. Strong inning for Sonny Gray. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go to the 5th. feel alive. That's how Brian actually got to the ballpark today.
Early, though.
Yes.
Very early today.
Very early.
A lot of important meetings.
Check swing and a ground ball to Duffy. Birds out. One away, one pitch, one out. There's the Rays tank out in right center field at Tropicana Field. Here's Miguel Andujar.
Makes for a nice target.
How many dunks happened during the season?
A handful.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah, boy, when you look at it from our vantage point, you've got a small little area to splash down in.
And that's a ride.
Yes, it is. Deep, deep right center field. I'm going to pull that back. Not even a handful. Maybe a handful every couple seasons.
So Mordecai Brown's handful. Three-finger Brown.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Now the Nationals come in here, right?
Yes.
Juan Soto might deposit one in the tank.
And Soto, he's been something else for that National at 19 years old.
That one is ripped to center field, but Kiermaier right there. Can't hit it much harder than that, 2-away.
Well, you're challenging the wrong guy, too. And Kiermaier, plenty of energy coming off that disabled list. Covers plenty of ground.
Gold Glove winner in 15 and 16, and he's been bedeviled by injuries that have kept him out of the lineup.
Well, he plays the game so hard. You know, you'd like to almost ask him to pull it back a little bit, because you look at the different ways that he's been injured. It's been going all out, diving into second base, diving, trying to make a play, coming hard in from center field, a play at first base where he ended up hurting a hip. But he's one of those guys that only knows one way, and has one speed, and that's just the way it goes.
Right now he's shaded to right center. That's where he was when Romine was up the last time, and Romine doubled just to the left of dead center, and Kiermaier couldn't get there. 2-0 now on Romine. 3-0.
Boy, it's interesting too, where even if where you see Joey Wendell out there in left field, all the room pretty straight up in the infield, but Wendell out here in left. There's Kiermaier out there in right center. With the spray charts and what they can do with them.
There's a strike. Well, what Romine has done, particularly with runners on base, is take the ball the other way. But if there's no one on base, he could turn on a ball. Count now full at 3-2. Got the breaking ball in there on 3-1.
How about that? And just caught the upper reaches of the strike zone close.
It's a tough league.
Yeah, yes, it is. The toughest league.
And he drops a breaking ball in there on 3-2 to strike out Romine. Yankees go down in order. We're halfway through. We'll see the Mariners take on the Red Sox. Barn burner last night. Red Sox won. For the rest of the country, it's the Dodgers taking on the Mets. Clayton Kershaw coming off the DL. Or Royals versus Astros. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area. Now, we talked about the great start the Yankees have gotten off to. They have the best record in baseball. But one of the amazing things, the 0-1 to Kiermaier, is that the Red Sox are winning right along with them. And all the Yankees, again, a great start. They're just one game ahead of the Red Sox.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fascinating race all the way through the summer into the fall. Because here's the deal. You do not want to end up as the wild card team. Even if you're the top wild card team and be subjected to just you want a series. You got to win the division to do that. And so neck and neck they are, and you assume they will be all summer. Houston Astros, how about 3 teams with at least 50 wins this early in the season?
Kiermaier down looking. And if you really want to dial up your expectations, the final 3 games of the season for the Yankees against the Red Sox, Fenway Park, 3 games, Bombers, Bo Sox. That could be for the division. And that will be like an all-time pennant race because, as you said, both teams at all costs want to avoid the wild card.
Yep. Just too much can happen. Too fluky.
Let's say Seattle gets the other wild card. You really want to face James Paxton with your season on the line? Let's say Ohtani comes back and the Angels catch the Mariners. You really want to face Ohtani in a 1-game set?
Not particularly.
And if you're the Yankees, do you really want to use Luis Severino in the 1 game, which means that in the best of 5, you could probably just use him once.
That's right. No, there's so much that goes into it. You know, a lot of people don't like that 1-game playoff, but it's tough for baseball when you think about it. It's a rhythmic sport. It's a sport that's built on repetition. And so if you're going to give the wild card a 3-game series, well, now the teams that have won the division and have, you know, they've got to sit around and wait for a week to play. That's not really fair. Baseball's a tough ball game to take a week off and come back sharp.
2-1 to Duffy. And one of the main reasons that they went to the second wild card, there was no disincentive.
Right.
To get a wild card or a division lead. There's nothing, because you still played in the best of 5. Now there is a disincentive. It's a huge disincentive. Duffy 0 for 1 with a walk. We're in the bottom of the 5th. It's 3-0 Rays. Along with Brian Anderson, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. MLB on FS1. Yankees against the Rays in American League East matchup. We talked about the Yankees and the Red Sox. Yankees are 50-23. Red Sox 49-24. That has never happened over the first 73 games, 2 teams in the same divisions. The last time it happened in the same league, Brian, Giants and the Reds in 1919. Grounded to Neil Walker. He gets Duffy.
Yeah, and you know what? Usually you're not looking at the standings this early in the season. I guarantee you that both fan bases and even some of the players are taking a peek daily at what's going on with these 2 teams.
Well, after this series, Yankees will head to Philly to play the Phillies, 3 games at Citizens Bank. Then Thursday an off day, and then at Yankee Stadium starting Friday night, Yankees Red Sox. Here's Jake Bauers, the DH today. And there's a strike. 3-5-0 for Tampa Bay, 0-3-1 for the Yankees. Tampa Bay's pitching has really shut down the Yankees. 1 run last night. Have not been able to score a run today through 5. 3 infielders on the right side for the lefty swinging Bauers, and the 0-2. upstairs.
Boy, interesting to see how the Rays have utilized their pitching staff. You know, last night's ball game, it was an inning out of the gate. Your opener is going to go out there and Ryan Stanek, and then piece it together from there. He's up in the bullpen right now. How about that? And then all of a sudden today, Wilmer Font, and they're going to try to stretch him out a little bit, hope to get through 5 innings. Best case scenario, he's already done that scoreless. Starter yesterday, warming up here in the 6th inning in today's ball game.
And as a starter yesterday, he just threw 1 inning. So this is not going to be unusual. This is part of the plan. 1-2. Ground ball. Neil Walker's there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Sonny Gray. Let's go to the 6th. 3-0 Tampa Bay. Home Run Derby on ESPN July 16th. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then catch baseball's biggest stars at the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. July 17th on Fox. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 2 great days on the baseball calendar, and I think baseball breathed a sigh of relief. The game is going to be at Nationals Park in D.C., and Bryce Harper said he will be part of the Home Run Derby.
Boy, that has become such an event, and the way that they've changed the scoring format, I think helped that out immensely. And obviously he's going to be the big draw there at his home ballpark. Free agent year.
Now the defending champ, Aaron Judge, has said that he will not participate this year.
Go out on top.
Why not? That one's driven to right field. Going back, Smith, he's there and he makes the play. So Walker hit it hard, but Smith ran it down.
Boy, every hard hit ball that the Yankees have had today into the outfield has been right at the outfielder. A couple at Kiermaier, that one at Malik Smith.
Now, when Font pitched against the Yankees last week, he went 4 2/3 innings. Team got the win. He was 1 out short of getting the victory. He's never had a big league win. So now he's 1 out into the 6th already.
And the thing about that start was he had gone 4 2/3 scoreless, and Aaron Hicks got him out into right center field, and he immediately got the hook. He was that close to qualifying for the win. At least Hicks spoiled that.
Almost had an accident in the bullpen down the right field line. Stanek and Venters are throwing, and they both threw at the same time and almost collided. They had to stumble to get out of the way.
Well, you know, so many lefties fall hard off to the right, and the righties falling off to the left. You better stagger that. I used to hate a little bit of bullpen time that I got warming up next to somebody. Especially if you were on the wrong side. If it flip-flopped and Venters is down the other side and that guy's right in front of you.
And they're pretty close. It's not like they're like 20 feet away from each other.
No. It's tight down there. Not a ton of foul territory.
Three-one to Gardner. Lined and caught by Robertson. Makes the throw to first. 2 away. Well, this is more than Cash could have asked for from Font.
Oh, you know, no question about it. And he's still only at 74 pitches. So not only has he been able to go out and be effective for 5 2/3, very effective, he's been extremely efficient. Just the 3 hits. He has not hurt himself via the walk.
Here's Aaron Judge. 1-0. Judge with 19 home runs and 51 runs batted in. One and one. The Yankees have had a lot of success at Yankee Stadium against the Rays. But here at the Trop, since the beginning of 2012, not too good. 25 and 32. This has never been a great place for the Yankees to play, dating back to when the Rays started as the Devil Rays. This place takes some getting used to. The roof, the acoustics, the turf. And by the time you get used to it, on to the next city.
That's it. That is absolutely right. That roof can really give visiting teams a lot of problems. You see a lot of guys come in here and struggle, especially when the teams that, you know, you're only going to see once a season here. That roof is the same color as a rubbed up baseball. And so if you lose eyesight on that ball for just a split second, it is extremely difficult to pick back up.
Judge works a walk. Been up 3 times tonight. Each time he worked a 3-2 count. This time he gets a walk on base for the first time, and that'll bring up Gregorius.
You know, and it's surprising the sheer number of them, but when you think about his approach, and you talked about it, he is very disciplined at the plate and has a pretty well-defined strike zone, number one. And then pitchers are going to pitch him carefully, too, because of his power. It starts to make a little more sense.
Well, with the lefty due up, they will go to Venters. Venters against Gregorius when we get back. Top of the sixth, Johnny Venters to pitch to D.D. Gregorius. That one gets away from Ramos, and that allows Judge to move to second. So a quick wild pitch.
Boy, just yanked that fastball down and away, and Wilson Ramos rolls that glove over and cannot keep it close.
They're going to score that a pass ball, not a wild pitch. 20th game for Venters. Those are his numbers. Grounded and grabbed there by Robertson. He can't make the play. Everyone is safe. That'll be a base hit for Gregorius as Judge moves to third. Saved a run by stopping it going into the outfield, but couldn't get the out.
Yeah, hit this ball hard, and you see Daniel Robertson ranging to his right, able to glove it, just not able to come out of the glove clean with it. Great effort. Get the glove up top there, and then you see that comes loose, and that's it.
Stanek will come on to face Stanton next. Stanek's first pitch to Stanton was a strike. First and second. Top of the sixth inning, 2 outs. They bring in Stanek to face Stanton as the tying run at the plate. Right-handers have been able to neutralize Stanton this year.
Well, and a lot of it has to do with that pitch right there from Ryan Stanek. That slider down and away, and those are the numbers that you were talking about with Stanek, at least against righties. He's done a nice job against them, but it's
look at these numbers. 221 to 333.
Boy, a well-placed slider, a big reason why.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Went up the ladder, got him with the fastball. So Stanek gets the Rays out of a jam. And the Yankees continue to struggle with runners in scoring position. 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position in this series. They're 1 for 8 today. Ramos leads off against Gray, who has certainly settled down since the second inning, and he starts him off with a first pitch strike.
Yeah, he really has, throwing the ball well now, finding good areas of the strike zone to get to, working from out in front. And he's been good with that breaking ball too. Able to drop that one right into the bottom corner of the zone, and another 0-2 count.
Three runs on 5 hits for Tampa Bay. No runs on 4 hits for the Yankees. And the 1-2. Still 1-2. Take a look at the strikeout of Stanton.
Yeah, and you know that he's looking down and away. That pitch well above the swing and well by him, as you see right here. He's probably sitting and thinking about that breaking ball down and away, and the fastball up gets him.
Swing and a miss. Ramos down on strikes.
Sonny Gray once again, when you're able to get out in front there, and you take a look back at the mound. A little stumble there at the end, but you know, you get ahead and you can expand. He is proving that here the last few innings, keeping his team in the game, giving them a chance.
There's Joey Wendell. You know, I'm thinking about the Stanton strikeout. I read a story once about Mike Schmidt against Tom Seaver. And Schmidt really struggled against Seaver. And somebody said, well, what are you looking for when you go up there? He said, you know, that slider. It kills me, that slider. Look for the slider. Fly ball deep center field, going back, Hicks, still back to make the play on the track. And the person told Schmidt, well, if it's a great slider, can you hit it even if you're looking for it? He said, no. He said, then why are you looking for it?
Listen, really? I mean, sometimes just simplifying the game. You're right. If you're looking for a guy's put-away pitch and he executes it, look for it all day. You're not getting to it.
You almost think he should have been looking fastball there and reacted to anything else.
That's what most guys, and that's kind of how it's always been taught. You know, you look to the fastball and react to the off speed. If it's an 8+ off speed pitch, down and away, you're not going to get to it anyway. But if they hang it, you know, you're already geared up for the fastball, and you react to that breaking ball.
With a fly ball to center, so a nice easy 1-2-3 inning for Sonny Gray. He has retired 13 in a row. in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. We go to the 7th inning. Stanek facing Hicks. Fouled away. Yankees trail 3-0. Couple of moves for the Rays. Malik Smith moves from right to left, replacing Wendell, and Johnny Field takes over in right field as Kevin Cash tightens up his defense. Brian, a lot of people around the country might be taking a look at the Rays for the first time. In your best way, can you describe the opener and the bullpenning that the Rays are doing and why they're doing it?
Well, it started out, when the season was unfolding, it was going to be, they had 4 starters, and then they were going to have a bullpen day. And towards the end of spring training, Nathan Eovaldi, who they were counting on to be one of the guys in the starting rotation, got hurt. You were left with 3 starters and basically 2 bullpen days, and then injuries from there have further ravaged the starting rotation to where right now your traditional starters that are healthy and available are Nathan Eovaldi and Blake Snell, and outside of that, it's been piecing it together. The way they've done that is you've got the opener. And the opener is a short reliever that they hope to go out there and get between 3 and 6 outs. So we've seen Ryan Stanek go out and pitch 1 inning. We've seen him go out and pitch an inning and 2/3. We've seen him pitch 2 innings, and that's usually the limit. And then you piece it together from there. A lot of times you'll have a guy like Ryan Yarbrough who very well could work his way into a traditional starter. That's the way that he has come through the system. Left-hander, come in after him and try to eat up a good bulk of the innings before handing it over to the back end relievers. And then you've got a bullpen day like today. Today's a little different because Wilmer Font went way deep. But those days, the starter they expect to go out there and pitch as long as he's effective, but typically not going through a lineup more than 2 times before turning it over to the bullpen. And then you'll have your traditional day where a guy like Nathan Eovaldi or Blake Snell will take the ball and they will pitch as deep as they can get the job done. So that's the way that the Rays have pieced it together with their pitching staff, and it has certainly made things interesting around here at Tropicana Field.
And we asked Kevin Cash today, was this born out of necessity or is this the future? And he said both, because he could see baseball going this way. Pitch to Bird is low because he explained, all right, the Yankees have a Luis Severino, a starter that can throw 100 miles an hour the first pitch, 100 miles an hour 110th pitch. He's going to give you 7 or 8 innings each time out. There might be 15 of those guys in the world, he said, and then you want other guys to be that, and they're not that. He said, so I could see other teams going to this, he said, because owners might not want to pay the money for a starter that's not really a Luis Severino.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if it evolves into something that they do around Major League Baseball.
Well, certainly I think too, when you look at the Yankees and you look at the Red Sox and this Rays team trying to figure out how are we going to hang with these guys over the next couple of seasons, because not only are they 2 of the elite teams in Major League Baseball, but they're young. They've got a lot of youth to them, and they're going to be good for a long period of time. And where the Rays used to be able to go out and they had analytics and metrics and they were on the cutting edge of that. Well, now all that information all of these other teams have too, and with greater resources. So now how do we compete? And you liken it almost to college football. Some of these football teams that can't go toe-to-toe with recruits, Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, they got to out-scheme you. And so, all of a sudden you've got air raid offenses, you've got run and shoot, you've got 5 wide, you've got tempo, doing anything that you can to try to compete with the teams, that you can't compete with for the players. And so it almost feels like it's the Rays trying to maybe see if out-scheming through the pitching staff and the way it's utilized will help.
Bird chops one to first, and that's a foul ball.
Boy, and if C.J. Cron charges that a little bit more aggressively, he's able to pick up a quick out there. Bird not running out of the box, and that ball took a little bounce at the end. Was clearly fair the last time it hit in play right here and then takes a kick out. They called foul. Close.
Very.
Very close.
Sharp right-hand turn. 3-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. So a walk for Greg Bird. You know what else is interesting about, kind of reinventing the wheel, Brian, is the fact that you've got a situation where the best starters in baseball, they make about $30 million a year. So a team like the Rays, they're not going to swim in those waters. So if they could actually come up with something different, what do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. So they've invented this.
Yeah, and you know what? This is going to be something that continues all season long, and they will do their due diligence in putting away all that information, and at the end of the season, go back and say, hey, is this worth pursuing? Going forward, I think that there will be some version of it that will, it will happen. It's certainly, you think about the Yankee lineup. So the Yankee lineup in a game like last night, every at bat, you're facing a different style of pitcher. When you think about what Kevin Cash brought out of that bullpen.
Let's see if they turn 2 here. They do. He must have just brushed the bag with his foot, Robertson. And it's a 4-4-3 double play as they double up and Duhar. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Time for the 7th inning stretch as the Yankees are trailing the Rays by a score of 3-0. Seventh, Rays 3, Yankees nothing. Wilmer Font went 5 2/3. Sonny Gray 6 strong innings, still in there. Bowers and Robertson each with an RBI double. And Robertson leads off against Gray. Swing and a miss. Now we're talking about pitchers coming in, pitching maybe the first inning, maybe 5 batters, reinventing the wheel. But we go back to 1917. Babe Ruth of the Red Sox walks the Senators' leadoff batter Ray Morgan on 4 pitches. He did not like the call. Ruth then punches home plate umpire Brick Owens in the face, and he's ejected. Ernie Shore enters in relief. Morgan is thrown out trying to steal second on the first pitch. Shore then retired the next 26 batters for what was originally credited as a perfect game, but has since been reclassified as a combined no-hitter. What do you think? Is that the best relief appearance ever?
Oh, of all time. Of all time. It goes back to your MLB at-bat app.
I don't think that was carried on that app. Robertson down on strikes.
What a story.
Unbelievable.
Could you imagine in today's day and age where you just drop the home plate ump because of a 4-pitch walk to start a ball game?
And now, you know, with the unwritten rules, you're like this, Brian. The last batter of the game was pinch hitter Mike Minoski. The manager, Clark Griffith, ordered him to bunt. He did bunt, but second baseman manager Jack Barry made the play for the no-hitter.
There may have been some fisticuffs after that ball
Another
game.
punch, yeah.
Yeah, that have not been reported.
Oh and 1 on Malik Smith. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-0 Rays over the Yankees. Brian, what's different with Sonny Gray now and the first 2 innings when he gave up 6 hits and 3 runs?
Sharp. He is sharp. I mean, he has not missed. Think about all the missed pitches out over the heart of the plate that he was hurt on early. He has not been out there since.
Fly ball, left field. Gardner's there to make the play. 2 down.
He has really tightened up the location. The slider has been excellent. You know, he has really taken his arsenal and simplified things. A lot of sinkers, some 4 seams, the slider down and away. And he has been very, very sharp with them. And that's what has allowed him to get deeper into the ball game, having given up just those 3 runs.
1 walk, 7 strikeouts. So after the walk to Duffy in the 2nd inning, the Rays have not had a base runner.
And that's about what it feels like. That's how good he has gotten.
Adames fouls it back.
You know, there are sometimes the starting pitchers where they struggle early in ball games to get into a good rhythm. And if you're going to get them, you better get them early, because if they settle in, they tend to be able to you know, to skate on, to sail from there. And this is certainly one of those starts. This is where you go back and ask yourself, what did I do differently? When did the switch flip, and what caused it? Did I just get more aggressive?
Skied the other way. On the run is Judge, and that ball is gone inside the pole. A home run for Adames. It's 4-0 Rays. And that will do it for Sonny Gray. He had retired 15 in a row before that home run. And we'll take a look.
Well, this is one breaking ball that stayed up enough, and Willie Adames put a charge. I didn't think that he hit it that well. Good solid contact. He did keep it fair inside that pole right down the right field line. That's a good shot.
Well, the Yankees go to the bullpen. Kiermaier's due up next. Back at the truck, Chasen Shreve comes on for the Yankees, deals a first pitch ball to Kevin Kiermaier. And there's a strike. Count 1-1. So the home run by Adames, his second of his career. His first one came against Chris Sale, brand name. And now this one makes it 4-0. Those are the numbers on Shreve. Kiermaier singled in the first, came around to score, grounded to second, and struck out looking. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Rays. Yankees, no runs on 4 hits. The offense has stalled here in St. Petersburg. In fact, this powerhouse offense has scored 1 run in its last 23 innings. 3-2. Foul back.
And you know what? A lot of time, that's just the ebbs and flow of a season. You're going to not be hitting on all cylinders at the same time. You're going to go through rough stretches. Certainly that's happening right here with this offense. I'm sure that Aaron Boone not concerned at all, but you would like to see that turn around here rather quickly.
Kiermaier walks. We talked earlier about how the Yankee bullpen has been money. This month it's been unbelievable. In fact, since May 27th, they have an ERA of 0.86. The one outlier in that bullpen who has struggled is Chasen Shreve. Started off the season strong. He's had some rocky outings of late. And with the Yankee offense sputtering, it certainly behooves Shreve to hold the Rays right here at 4-0.
Yeah, they call that grand slam range, and you want to stay within that. You know, this offense capable of exploding at any time.
One and one on Duffy. Duffy's 0 for 2 with a walk. Two and one.
You know, this is what's interesting too. Is this Yankee team and the struggles they've had here at Tropicana Field over the last, game and 2/3. You know, how much of that do you pin on all of the different pitchers they've faced? You know, now you're 8, 9 pitchers, 10 pitchers into what amounts to about 15 innings.
There's a base hit. Right center field, cutting over his Hicks, cuts the ball off in the gap, holds Duffy to a single as Kiermaier advances to third.
Well, and the struggles of Chasen Shreve continue. Hurt yourself with the walk, and he did that left on left against Kiermaier. Matt Duffy, who has hit righties much better than he's hit lefties, is able to stay through that fastball out into right center field, and now the Rays a 2-out opportunity at first and third. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, really Wilmer Font is the only guy that Yankee hitters have seen multiple times. So you're never really able to settle in against anybody. Seen a lot of different styles, which is, that bullpen put together by design here by the Rays. Can be challenging.
And one thing that jumps out at you, and I think people lose sight of it, people don't like change in baseball. Baseball is very traditional. Also, this is a team that got rid of 4 of its top home run hitters, changed the way its offense played.
Yes.
Has a lot of young players. You look at their record, they're 35 and 40. They're hanging. They're hanging tough. It's just their misfortune that they're in a division with 2 teams that are off to historic starts.
Well, you think about how they started the season. You know, 1-8.
Yep.
Right out of the gate. Have played above 500 since then.
Shreve last 7 games, 8 runs and 7 2/3 innings. 2-1 on Bowers. Now there's nobody up. So if you lose Bowers, you're going to have the lefty Shreve facing Ramos, and this could be one of those lose the battle to win the war games rather than go deeper into your bullpen and use your top flight guys. He needs Shreve, Boone does, to get out of this. There's a strike. Missed his location but caught a break getting the strike. 2-2.
Right here, the breaking ball, the slider kind of backs up on him a little bit. It locks up Bowers. Where sometimes those backup breaking balls end up working out very well for you. Not the way it was designed.
I got to give the home plate umpire, and you lived through this, Brian, Dan Bellino, some credit. Usually, when you miss the target by that much and the catcher's glove just windshield wipes to the other side, they automatically call it a ball, but he stayed with it twice today. And because it hit the corner, even though it was the wrong corner, still call it a strike.
Yeah, I think that Dan Bellino here this afternoon has been very good and very consistent. And that's, you know, you've got to track those balls and not get caught up into the presentation. And that is so much of the game now. You think about all the pitch framing metrics that are out there, the way that these guys, you know, a pitch that's just off the plate. Well, if I keep the, you know, the meaty part of my hand on the corner and catch it in the webbing, you know, you present that well to the home plate umpire, and he calls it a strike for you. There's the nuances of the catching position have changed so much.
Three-2. Drilled deep to right field. Fair ball, it's gone. Foul ball, just foul. Bowers can't believe it, and he is asking Cash to have the umpires take a look. The Rays are looking at their replays, see what they have. We'll see what we have here.
Boy, a hanger. And Bowers right down the line. Let's take a look.
It's a foul ball.
Yes, it is.
You know what I've noticed, Brian? I wonder if you've noticed it over the years playing and broadcasting. It's amazing how often the players are wrong.
They want it so badly.
They want it so bad. They see it with their heart rather than their brain. And replay has shown us that. Three-2. He walked him, bases loaded. So this game very close to getting away from the Yankees and Chase and Shreve, and Larry Rothschild comes out to talk with Shreve.
Yeah, and this would be an interesting conversation because Chase and Shreve has come on after the Adames home run, walked the lefty Kiermaier. Now he's walked the lefty Bowers after giving up a base hit to Duffy.
Have you looked down at the Yankee bullpen in left field? Nothing going on. A couple of security guards, so Chase and Shreve has to keep the Yankees right here.
Yeah, I don't think they're eligible for this ball game.
Yeah, they're not on the 25.
Nope.
Well, now you have a tougher customer in Ramos. Now that doesn't necessarily hurt Shreve because Shreve has the stuff to get out righties. Sometimes he's more effective against righties than he is against lefties.
Well, the Yankees certainly hoping that is the case here. Wilson Ramos has done a nice job here with the bases loaded. How about that? 372 with 3 grand slams.
Foul back, 1-1.
May have helped out Shreve right there. That pitch well off the plate away. Allows them to get right back into the count. See where this pitch is. running up and away out of the zone.
In his career, lefties hit .238 against Shreve, righties hit .219. Well, Romine's done some work this inning behind the plate.
And he's made it look easy. I mean, effortless, good technique.
There's Gary Sanchez, the primary Yankee catcher. Day game after night game, and Gray starting gives him the day off. 2-2.
And that's 2 times that Ramos has gone out of the strike zone. Fastball up and away, that changeup down below. The split variety.
And that's the pitch that makes him more effective against righties. He's somewhat reluctant to throw that to lefties. Two, 3-2.
You know, for the longest time, the left-on-left changeup always has been discouraged because usually you get some arm side sink and fade. And so when you're throwing that pitch to them, think about it, arm side sink and fade down and into a lefty. Down and into a lefty a lot of times does not work out so well for the pitcher. I think, you know, if it's a good pitch, it's a good pitch, and it's going to work righty or lefty.
And you can get him just on the change of speed.
Yeah.
So now everybody will be going, bases loaded, 2 outs, a 3-2 count. Ramos at the plate. And the pitch. He struck him out. Big strikeout for Shreve. They get 1 run. We go to the 8th, 4-0 Rays. Forward, going further so you can. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Rays lead the Yankees 4-0. Middle game of this 3-game set. And the new pitcher for the Rays is Chaz Rowe. He'll face Austin Romine. This is the run of futility for the Yankees of late. 1 run in 23 innings, 2 for 22 runners in scoring position, 21 left on base, and those are the numbers on Rowe, putting together a nice season. Romine doubled to center field in the 3rd, and struck out looking in the 5th, hitting .313 on the season. Chad Green up. Grounded foul. Now you might say, why bring Green in when they're down 4-0? He's one of their primary relievers. Well, managing a bullpen is one of the great juggling acts of all time. He's had 4 days off. You give him more days off than that, then you bring him into a pressure spot, he might not be as sharp.
Yeah, that is one of the things that rarely goes noticed, unless it's a bad thing. But you got to keep guys sharp. You don't want to overuse them. You know, and Aaron Boone was talking about that. You know, a guy pitching, 3 out of 4 days, back-to-back days, and how you determine whether you're going to give them rest, whether they're going to be down, but potentially an emergency guy. How long do you let a guy sit out there without getting into a ball game, where you start to lose some effectiveness, perhaps?
Swing and a miss, way outside, and Romine chases.
Well, here's our Gatorade proven performance, and it's going to be Wilmer Font and the job that he did. Kevin Cash was saying he'd be ecstatic if Wilmer Font could get through 5 innings. Well, he did better than that, pitching into the 6th, 5 2/3, gave up just the 3 hits, no runs, just 1 walk, and he has done a tremendous job, as you see his numbers with the Rays.
Here's Neil Walker. Fouled away. 0-1. Walker's 0 for 2, getting a start at second. Gleyber Torres gets the game off. Yankees' brilliant 21-year-old rookie, who, with Ohtani going down, certainly is the favorite in the American League for Rookie of the Year. But everybody who loves baseball hoping that Ohtani does get back this year. Ground ball to first. Bone takes it himself, 2 away. And let's check in with Mike Hill in LA for a game break. Mike? Thanks, Mike. Right here, it's 4-0 Rays. We're in the top of the 8th inning, 2 outs. Nobody on. Brett Gardner at the plate against Chaz Rowe, 4th Rays pitcher. Gardner's 0 for 3 in this one. Pitch outside. Gardner has grounded out the second twice, and a fly ball to center. Two 2-0. It's interesting. We were talking about openers and bullpen days, and if it's going to become a thing of the future. But remember, Major League Baseball is working on pace of play, and one of the things that's being discussed is limiting the amount of relievers you could use.
Yeah.
Which could take this whole process right out of the knees.
Yeah. No, I mean there's a lot in play. You're talking about eliminating shifts, perhaps. Well, I don't know how you do that. If you start to legislate on how many relievers that you can use,
changing the essence of the game.
Right. And you got to factor in poor performance. Do I have to leave a guy out there just because I've run out of options and he's getting his teeth kicked in or gets hurt? How would you legislate all of that stuff? Same thing with the shift. You want to beat a shift, learn to hit the ball the other way.
That's a great point. The shift, I think, is more easily enforced. You can't have 3 infielders on one side of second base. So you could shade up the middle and still essentially shift. But limiting the amount of relievers you could use, that's going to be a bear.
That would be extremely difficult.
Because teams now are built around relievers matching up in late innings, and you're going to take that away from managers. Maybe. It's being discussed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Gardner down on strikes. Yankees go down in order. We go to the bottom of the 8th. retire.
Well, Willie Adames right here, finding a hole on the left side with a pulled-in infield. RBI #1 for him. And then how about the breaking ball right there that he's able to power out right down the right field line, showing some strength.
New pitcher for the Yankees, Chad Green, and he deals the Field, who fouls it back. Field's first at bat. Green, one of the weapons in the Yankee bullpen. 29 games, 45 strikeouts in 34 1/3 innings, just 7 walks. A riding, four-seam fastball that people don't seem to catch up to. Although Field just did, as he gets it through the left side of the infield for a leadoff hit.
Yeah, that pitch right there, I think, had a little bit of a wrinkle in it and stayed up in the zone, and Field able to roll it over. There he is. He pops it through, splits the defenders perfectly. And Chad Green, one of those guys, not anymore, but boy, early on, he was under the radar. When you think about what was in the back end of that bullpen, and this guy may have been the most reliable, one of the most reliable.
And he was a starter.
Yep.
And his stuff plays much higher out of the bullpen. So as a starter, it's 92, maybe 93. As a reliever, he comes in throwing 97, 98. It just plays to a higher level. Not really holding anything back in the tank. We talked about that with Font.
Yep. Well, he can afford to let it go. The strikeout numbers show you all you need to know about his stuff, and the fact that he can ride that fastball up there with good velocity, good spin. It jumps bats.
Well, it's hard to look at the Rays throwback uniforms and not think Wade Boggs, John Flaherty, Fred McGriff, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the franchise. Is their 21st year, and they started out as the Devil Rays, and it's since been shortened just to the Rays. There's Wade Boggs with that uniform on. This is a big moment in Rays history.
Don't hang it. 3,000. And how about getting it on a home run?
Now I got a quick quiz for you. An unfair quick quiz.
Yes.
Fly ball right field. Judge there to make the play to retire Cron. Wade Boggs is one of 3 players to home run for the 3,000 hit. Please, Brian Anderson, who are the other 2?
I can give you one.
Okay.
Jeter off Price, extended at bat,
Yes.
New Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
Blistered one. I have no idea.
The other one's a Yankee. I'll give you a clue. He was on the same side of the infield as Jeter. He's now a broadcaster.
Oh.
Alex, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We were the same draft year.
Really?
Alex, yeah. He was pick out of high school down in Miami. Pick number 1. 1-1. There you go.
And where'd you go?
1-3.
Pretty good.
Not too bad.
No, not too bad at all.
But it was funny because Darren Dreifert was the second pick of that draft, and we were both out of college, had roomed together with Team USA in '92, and we're like, well, who's this high school kid they keep pumping up? He's probably going to be the first pick of the draft. Had no idea who he was. Not like it is now with all the information, Twitterverse, and everything else. And so it came down to the draft. It turned out to be Alex Rodriguez, and I would say that they did pretty good with that pick.
They did all right.
Yes, they did.
And there's a story behind that. The negotiations with Seattle went on a long time.
Mm-hmm.
He was walking to class at the University of Miami. If he would have walked into the class, he could not sign. And there were no cell phones then, and somebody had to run and get him, that they finally came to agreement before he got into the class.
That's cutting it too close.
Strike 3. Robertson down looking. Robertson with an RBI double, a run scored, and 3 strikeouts today.
Boy, always stay behind the fastball and drive it. Upper reaches of the 90s, 97.
So runner on first, 2 outs, and here's Malik Smith. Were your negotiations as a third pick in the first round that?
They were awful.
They were awful. Really?
Yeah, it took me forever to get signed.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those situations where the initial offer did not change very much, and it was significantly lower than a lot of the other guys in the top 10. So if I sign early to get started, I ruin it for everybody behind me. So I'm holding on, letting the guys behind me sign,
right,
to try to, you know, to help them out, really, at the end of the day, and to do a little bit better job on our end. And it ended up being that I finally did sign late in the process, and yeah, out of the top 10, I think I ranked 10th.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you weren't walking to class like Alex. You finished class.
I had finished class. It was just a long summer at home.
The 0-2. Smith slashes one to left field. This could score a run. It goes into the corner. Field is hustling around third. They hold him right there. As Gardner got the ball in quickly, it's a double for Smith. Second and third, 2 outs.
Boy, Malik Smith shooting that ball into the corner, and a really good job by Gardner out there to get to it as quickly as he did. This fastball just above the belt, and he slaps it down into the corner, and Johnny Field, 2 outs coming around. But look at Brett Gardner get that ball and get rid of it quickly. Matt Quatraro has to hold up Johnny Field.
So here is Willie Adames, second and third, 2 outs. Adames against Green. Got the fastball by him, 0-1. Good day for Adames. RBI single, and then a home run. Home run, the last batter, Sonny Gray face. Broke a string of 15 straight Rays retired. And the count 0-2 on the rookie.
Yeah, here's the other thing about Chad Green. It has some deception built into that delivery with how smooth it is. You know, he does not, you know, have a laborious delivery where he looks like he's trying to throw 96, 98. Just comes popping out.
Strike 3. Down goes Adames. The Rays strand 2. Last licks coming up for the Yankees. sponsored by Boost Mobile.
Well, here's the thing. The Rays, over 17 innings of work. You know, they've held them to just 9 hits. Now with the 8 walks, you've had 17 base runners in 17 innings, but the lack of a big hit, and the Rays have kept the Yankees in the yard. No home runs. It's made it difficult for them to put anything on the board.
Sergio Romo comes on and deals a strike to Judge. It'll be Judge, Gregorius, and Stanton. Romo nailed down the save last night. Rays made some history when they had Romo start 2 straight games earlier in the season, and he had a great line. They said, well, is it different than relieving? He said, the thing that jumped out at me, he said, just getting on the mound, and it was clean. There was no landing holes. He said, that was so odd. High fly ball left field. Smith puts it away. 1 down.
Yeah, there is something to be said for that, because as the game goes on, and Sergio Romo, for a lot of his career, you know, coming in 8th, 9th inning, and the landmines that have been left on that mound. 89 career saves. How many World Series he pitched in? 3.
Got 3 rings with the Giants. Here is Gregorius. Crowd of 29,831 here at the Trop, and that is the 2nd largest crowd of the year after opening day. Now, Romo made 588 relief appearances before his first major league start, and that's the 4th most all-time before a pitcher's first start. As Gregorius skips rope. Troy Percival, 638 relief appearances. Todd Jones, 632, and Chuck McElroy, 603. '11th year in the big leagues. He spent most of his time with the Giants. And it also shows you don't have to be a high draft pick to make it. 28th round pick in 2005 out of Colorado Mesa University in Grand Junction.
That's the great thing about baseball. Skill sport. If you can play at a high level, they will find you. And you'll get every opportunity. You know, you may have to prove yourself a little bit more than some other guys as you move through the system, but the bottom line is you continue to put up numbers. And you continue to move up and get closer and closer. And a guy like Sergio Romo, not going to wow you with velocity, but his arm angle, the way that he's able to sweep the slider, a couple different versions of it. At this point in his career, knowledge of the hitters.
Hey, Mike Piazza made the Hall of Fame getting drafted in a round that no longer exists in the Major League Draft.
What a great point. What a great point. Incredible story there.
Romo, an All-Star in 2013. Won 3 World Series, as we mentioned, with the Giants. 2010, 2012, 2014. Did not allow a run in 6 appearances. 2-2. That one is laced into left field. Smith is there to make the play, and the Yankees are down to their final out.
Well, that's the other thing, too. The few times they have hit the ball on the nose into the outfield, it has been right at that particular outfield. A couple to center, 1 to right, that 1 to left.
If the Yankees lose this game, Brian, they have not lost back-to-back games since May 22nd and 23rd in Texas. Also, their last series loss in between trips to Texas and Tampa Bay. They were 19-6, 7-series win, and 1 2-game split with the Nationals. So this has not happened to the Yankees in a while unless they stage a 2-out rally. Stanton doubled in the 2nd, wrapped into a double play in the 4th, and then struck out with runners on 1st and 3rd in the 6th. And that was against Ryan Stanek, and he missed that ball by a lot.
We got caught guessing.
1-1. Down to their final strike. 4 runs on 9 hits for Tampa Bay. No runs on 4 hits for the Yanks. This would be the second game the Yankees have been shut out this year. The 1-2. 2-2. The Rays used 6 pitchers last night. Romo is the 5th pitcher today. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 9th. Swing and a miss. And the Rays shut out the Yankees 4-0. And the Yankees lose a series, which doesn't happen very often. The whole season, 16-3-4 in series. Now 16-4-4. So the Rays are taking the first 2 games of this series, 4-0 to the Rays tonight. The Yankees lose. Now we go back to the studio in Los Angeles, and Mike Hill takes over the proceedings. Mike?